I'm a long-haul truck driver. That means I spend a lot of nights driving down vaguely familiar roads with nothing but my radio and the occasional passing truck to keep me company. Unless you're on the coast, of course. Never get a break from traffic on the coast. Anyway, a couple of nights ago, I was on this one dark stretch of I-40 between Jackson and Nashville, Tennessee. Nothing out of the ordinary. You know, I've been down that road before. Traffic was light, but there was pretty much always a vehicle within my sight, mostly other semis. Maybe 1 out of every 20 vehicles I saw was a car, not unusual for driving at 3 o'clock in the morning. But there was this one stretch, I don't remember where now, as I wasn't really paying attention to mileposts. But I came around a corner as an oncoming car went by, and suddenly I was in total darkness. I was the only vehicle around. I couldn't see any headlights or taillights anywhere ahead of or behind me. All I had were the beams of my own headlights to guide my path. Unfortunately, those two decided to betray me as my truck suddenly went completely dark. The engine was still working fine, cruise control still working, but no lights. No dashboard lights, no outside lights, nothing. Now this truck has a faulty headlight switch. It happens very rarely, but sometimes when I hit a bump just the right way, all the lights go out, and I gotta fiddle with the switch to get them back on. Tonight though, something was different. The air around me felt still, despite the fact that I couldn't see anything. And then I did see something. Straight ahead of me, what looked like headlights way in the distance, flicking the switch up and down a few times, and kicking the exposed fuse panel under the dash. I finally managed to get my lights to come back on. For a second, that felt like an eternity. I saw what those headlights actually were. They were eyes, huge, luminous pools belonging to a deer. Or at least, it had definitely been a deer at one point. But somewhere along the lines, something had happened. It stood at least 9 feet tall on its hind legs. Its appendages, legs, neck, even the antlers, were all grotesquely long, and it stood sort of hunched, so the head was leaning toward me. The creature was only there for a second. I guess they don't like light. As soon as I turned my headlights on, it got out of there, and I mean fast. I never even saw it move. It was just there 1 second, and the next, it was gone. Even with the short length of time I saw that thing, its image will forever be scarred in my brain, especially because of what happened last night, 2 nights after my first contact. I was heading back the other direction, back west. Running in the small hours of the morning again. Dispatcher keeps sending me a bunch of early morning loads, which means I spend a lot of time driving in the dark. Anyway, I was coming through that same stretch, and I recognized the area as soon as it dawned on me that once again there were no other vehicles around me. This time though, I turned off my headlights myself. I was curious, you know. I had to know if I'd see it again, and oh, did I see it. As soon as I turned the headlights off, I felt the truck shake. For a second I thought that I had gone off the edge of the road or something, but looking in my mirror confirmed my worst fear. The deer hadn't just come back out, it was on my truck. I could see its eyes staring at me through the passenger side mirror. That's all I could see. Now, I have spotlights mounted to the mirrors to help with backing into dark lots, so they're already pointed backwards most of the time. Thinking fast, I flipped the switch for the passenger side spotlight and illuminated the creature. It was standing with its rear hooves on my rear catwalk between the truck and trailer, and its body stretched out around the side of the sleeper, clinging to the side. Its head must have been just behind where I could have seen it through the passenger window, and those eyes were staring right into mine through the mirror. Once again, though, it was only there for a second. As soon as I turned that light on, it vanished, or so I thought. Now I'll be honest, when I hit that light and was able to see its full form clinging to the side of my truck, I screamed. Not a high-pitched girly scream like you hear in horror movies, but definitely a sound unbefitting a man of my size. Once it disappeared, I took a couple seconds to breathe and turned my focus back to the road ahead. Only the road wasn't clear. I could see those damn eyes again. Noticing too late that the eyes were moving with me, I turned my headlights back on, and this time I did scream like a girl. The creature had apparently scrambled around the side of the truck and was now clinging to the front of the hood. Its body probably stretched out across the grille. All I could see of the creature was its head, sticking up over the end of the hood and stretching toward me slightly. In that moment, it kind of reminded me of Mangle from FNAF 2. I locked eyes with the creature for a split second before it thrust itself off the front of the truck, presumably reacting to the marker lights on top of the cab that had been illuminating it. It landed about a quarter mile ahead of me, stared on for another second, and then it was gone. I quickly composed myself and turned off my spotlight as I saw another vehicle coming up behind me. I wondered if they might have seen anything. That was just last night. I haven't been back to that stretch, and I'll probably never go through there at night again. I leave you with this warning. If you ever find yourself on Interstate 40 between Jackson and Nashville, Tennessee, make sure your headlights work, because I can't even imagine what that deer might do if it decides it wants to attack.